Hello, everybody. Michael Anfield here, and thank you for joining me. Yeah, I just had my 2 glasses of smoothie with banana, mango, and pineapple. It's so good. So, uh, the comments that people usually leave on posts, maybe on Facebook or you know, the comments through YouTube or whatever, or wherever. Um, I want to talk about this because I think it's very important that people understand what I'm saying here. Now, if somebody posts something, any kind of status update or a video, and people don't like that video, it triggers something within them that brings out anger and hate, then is it the fault of the actual messenger, or is it the fault of the comments or people that comment on these posts? And thing is, it really depends. So first of all, understanding that no matter what the person is posting or uploading, again, if it's a video or a thread or something, what we need to realize is that our way of addressing it with the other person. Now, even if we don't agree with something, or if we think that somebody's saying a hate speech or something like that, what we need to realize is the way that we actually handle our comments is what is really understandable. Now, somebody who is genuinely seeking truth and understanding and questioning things basically will try to fully understand that post or that upload of what somebody is has posted. So they will generally ask a question if they don't understand, or if it goes against their beliefs or something like that. They will try to they will try to ask a question, and really try to understand where the person is coming from. Because sometimes what people do is they'll post something, but they will ultimately uh, maybe we maybe word it wrongly, or maybe we read it wrong. We read their post wrong, or maybe they just didn't articulate it properly, or whatever it is. So there's a miscommunication somewhere. Okay, so that's the number one thing, is there's always a miscommunication somewhere. Now maybe there isn't a miscommunication. Maybe everything is spelled out and properly, and we just kind of somehow read the message wrong or whatever, and all of a sudden we blurt out hateful comments below that thread or below that video, and it doesn't make us look good. It doesn't make anyone look good. And then on top of that, there's always and depending on how controversial the topic is, there's always comments under comments under comments, and it's like keeps going and going and going. And I've seen and read literally thousands of comments that are so hilarious and don't make any sense. It's like some people even post things that are totally unrelated to whatever somebody's posting, if it's my post or if it's other people's posts. I read so many different posts and so many different comments, and it's just like so ridiculous. Like somebody's talking about, for example, shoes or something, and then I somebody talks about totally something else. Like, come on, get on the stay on the subject. So that's one thing, is miscommunication. And also, a lot of times these people that are posting, they're either trolls, they're either fake people, or fake, like, trolls are different. Trolls are just there to bash people and to write hateful comments and to write totally opposite comments like I love meat or bacon or whatever, these comments. And then there's those that are just unaware of what they're really doing. Like they have so much anger and hate within them that they're putting it out to them. So that's what I feel. I also feel that whatever we see in the external, whatever we see in the external, whatever we are witnessing out there, if it's online, if it's out in the real world, if it's wherever, it's actually happening within ourselves. So there's a lot of battle, a lot of healing to do within ourselves, a lot of toxic behaviors and still attitudes that we hold within ourselves. So we really need to understand this, that we may feel that, okay, you're wrong and I'm right, and we have this battle between wrong and right. And it's like, no, there is no wrong and right. I mean, yeah, there is wrong and right, of course. If I hit a dog or something, it's not a moral thing to do. But per se, like there is people always thinking that they have the answers and they're right, and whatever other people say, it's not a right thing, and they twist people's words, twist them, and then their justification is that, oh, you're trying to justify your actions when they twisted your words to begin with. So it's like saying, for example, if you say, I hate dogs, for example, okay? You know precisely that this person hates dogs. I mean, it's not coming from me. I mean, I love dogs, but I'm just saying, let's just give an example. I hate dogs. So somebody says, I hate dogs. So you know precisely that they hate dogs. Okay. So should we get upset right away because somebody said, I hate dogs? You know what I mean? Should we get upset about that? Now, I knew so many people, and I know even now so many people that hate humans. Should I get upset and start yelling at them, saying, blah, 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 all kinds of mean comments on their whatever post they make? No. I'll still continue maybe being their friend, maybe not following them as much, or maybe not being their close friend or something like that, but I'll still, be their Facebook friend or something, unless they really say like, I want to rape somebody or I want to kill somebody or something like that. Then, that respect, of course, I don't want anything to happen. But there are a lot of people that hate humans, that don't like animals, non-human animals. They just really have all this anger within them. And so if the person were to say, I don't or I hate what humans are doing to dogs, then that's a little different story, right? But they said, I hate dogs. Or let's say another case, um, would be like saying, maybe I'm a male supremacist or something, from the KKK. I hate all women, all women should die or something like, some craziness like that. And of course, it's really a hate speech because it's attacking a whole group of people. It's not saying, for example, um, I don't like women, I hate women. So there's a difference with I don't like and I hate. Okay. Now, dislike or things like that doesn't mean that you hate somebody. So dislike or I don't love somebody or I don't love, whatever. So there's, words are tricky. And so we have to be very careful, first of all, how we use our words and what words we use, but to also understand the meaning behind what somebody is saying. Because they could say something and we could read it 10 times before we fully really understand what they're actually trying to say. So, for example, a while back, maybe I don't know, many years ago, I read the saying, "As we sow, so shall we reap. As we sow, so shall we reap." And at the time, I didn't know what it meant, and I read it dozens of times, and I still didn't get really what it meant until years later. I finally found out what that meant. As we sow, so shall we reap. So what I found out eventually, after many years, is that whatever we do, basically this is what it's saying. Whatever we do, it always comes back to us in some form or way. And so if we're giving out positive, loving, caring um, actions, then we're going to get that back. Now, if we are angry and we get angry at somebody because they wrote something, let's just say they wrote something like, "I'm going to kill you. I hate all humanity. I'm going to kill you." Okay? Or, "I'm going to kill all humanity. I hate humanity." So they're talking about humanity as a whole. Now, of course, they're angry for whatever reason. They have a lot of internal anger issues because they're saying this stuff. And I feel that a lot of people don't have they're not positive for the state of the future. So they think like all humanity is bad. So that means that they're bad too. That means that they should kill themselves too because they're saying humanity. So they're saying, I mean, humanity. You're included in humanity, right? So that just doesn't make any sense. First of all, unless you want to kill yourself too. So we need to ultimately like John Sackers, for example, he does a lot of great work. I don't agree 100% on everything he says or everything he does, but and he does have a lot of silly, saw a lot of silly videos and so forth. But he's a great guy. He wants to, create Garden of Eden or whatever. But some people are just doing things, and I'm not talking about just him, but a lot of people are doing things that just don't make sense, or they want something, but they don't go for that whatever they really want. Okay, so if we want to live in a peaceful Eden world, we have to live in an Eden world. We can't live in our society any longer. It just doesn't work. It's just like if a house is on fire, we have to get out of the house. So the house that's on fire is basically not our planet Earth. Okay, it's the government and society in a whole totality. That is what's burning. We need to get out of this society completely as much as we possibly can. Of course, maybe in the transition stage in the first few years, it might be hard because we still might need money and so forth. But let's try to get away from that as much as we can. And so the whole idea is that we have to heal ourselves. Now, I don't claim to have all the answers, and people will always disagree with me, uh, partially or fully. But that's like everyone else. Everyone has different, varying opinions and understanding and spiritual growth, consciousness. And the consciousness is like certain levels of consciousness. If someone is screaming and hollering and hating somebody on a comment, no matter how bad and how evil a comment is that person spiritually aware and awake? And is that person really spiritual person? Are they really loving, caring individual? Um, think about that because this is definitely not um, a spiritually awakened person. I mean, Buddha would not, if Buddha or somebody lived in this time, Buddha or Pythagoras or whoever lived in this era, they would uh, definitely not be saying hateful things, commenting like a mad person, and saying all kinds of hateful and vile remarks. And we need to really understand. And if we don't understand the post, instead of talking publicly, open to thousands, probably even millions of people, to discuss with the person directly, rationally, and understand their side. Not only that, to understand that all of us are hurt. And if we are coming out from anger or hate, so we have to keep the discussion neutral or positive. Actually, more or less, we got to keep it positive. Because if we don't keep it positive, if we keep it negative or even neutral, actually, we find that nothing will get resolved because we don't see the positive side of the other person. So we have to kind of understand where they're coming from and in some way agree with them. Like, for example, if somebody says, I hate all humans, humanity should be killed, or I wish humanity was killed. And I'll be like, I understand how you feel. And I felt at one point the same way because you can see that all the destruction in the world are, created by man. And I do think that. But unfortunately, all humanity means we're going to kill our parents and we're going to kill our families, our blood families, and we're going to kill ourselves. It just does not make any sense. There are very many very good-hearted humans in the world doing their part to try and share this, compassionate message to the world. And so you say it that way instead of, oh, you want to kill humans. You're a bad person, evil person. I'm going to wipe you off my friend list and whatever else, like horrible things. And instead of doing that and saying that, we go from an area of our heart of love. Okay. So we challenge their, whatever they posted, we challenge them through love and try to understand where the person is coming from. Okay. Now, if the commenter is saying that, oh, you shouldn't have said it this way, and you should have said it another way, and this and that, and it's like, okay. So they come to the two parties, so the commenter and the person who did the video come to an understanding. Okay. So one gives and takes, understanding of what um, understanding. So when one person actually understands the message and believes in it, but at the same time thinks that it should be reworded, it should be said differently, etc., etc., they have to give positive feedback, not hateful feedback. Oh, you hate all women, or oh, you hate all animals, and and all kinds of hateful comments. And what we need to do is we need to give positive um, feedback. And I don't like using the word criticism because criticism is harsh feedback, very harsh feedback. Now, and distasteful and hateful feedback. So we need to give um, positive feedback so the person can learn because we're all here trying to create Eden. I'm not perfect. I say things and I do things that I'm not proud of. And I'm learning just like everyone is learning. We're not bad people. None of us in this world, on this world, is a bad person. We all are learning something. Now, maybe people have bad intentions and maybe they're evil in the sense of their actions are evil. But to really um, majority of people in this world, I would say most people in this world want to live in a utopian world, want to live in that world. They're just so conditioned and programmed by society that it's just like they feel that it cannot happen and they feel like, oh, we need to be in this society. We need to reform the society because there's no other way. You know, there's no other way. I mean, I don't want to go out to nature, live there like a jungle person, and be arrested by police if they find out that I'm living, illegally. And that is the whole problem. Is people are so conditioned and so believing in this whole program, the whole society that we're born into, that any little thing. And even vegans are probably sometimes even the most programmed still, because especially if they're not deep vegans, because deep veganism is really to question everything, to really to awaken to understanding that we need to walk completely away from our society. And society and the system, unfortunately, even so-called deep vegans are still in that delusion, in that way, in that delusion, because people just want to be comfortable, and they want to conform to the government so that, oh, I don't, nothing happens to me, and I conform just so that they leave me alone, you know. But the point is, we're not exercising our birthrights. We're not exercising true freedom. And true freedom is to get out of the system completely, or at least like 95% or more out of the system. And unfortunately, that's not what I am at the moment, because, or where I am at the moment, because I'm still transitioning away from our society, and I'm learning about all this, and I'm teaching people about these things. And eventually one day, and I'm doing an audiobook right now that really talks about these things, and not in detail, but briefly about these ideas about walking away completely from society, if it really does not positively benefit us. I mean, for hundreds or thousands of years, politicians and governments and people in power have really done little to nothing to really lift up this world, to create peace and true freedom. They have not done that. And everything in our society is here to keep us in servitude and enslaved. And so everything, may it be makeup, or may it be tattoos, or may it be economics, or may it be our monetary system, or may it be the hurting of animals, or whatever it is, it's there to keep us stuck in this enslavement, in this system that has no positive benefits for humanity, for all life on this earth. Now, if we really take the essence of naturally free roaming animals in nature, and we take the whole of the system, okay? Now, I really believe that whatever we do in society, it mirrors itself in nature somewhat. So, the reason why we see a lot of carnivorous animals eating other animals, and I'm not saying totally that's the way, but basically, the reason why we see some violence within nature is because we see a lot of violence within humanity. Humanity, especially humanity, killing other animals to eat, to consume. And when we understand this, okay, then we start to realize that, okay, we're mirroring our image back and forth, okay? So that's what it is, like a mirror. So whatever we do to ourselves, to other animals, we essentially see it in the external world all around us. And also it's depicted in documentary movies where animals eat other animals, and all these natural wildlife documentaries, virtually all of them have some violence in that system, in that movie. And if you look out in nature today, like in most areas, you will not see dog eat dog world. Yeah, there are some animals that eat other animals, but they do it for sustenance and instinct. Okay? And majority of the animals, 3/4 of the animals or more, according to stats that are flying around all over the place, um, are herbivores, are eating plants, are eating plants, are eating plants. Now, of course, there are some animals that are omnivores or omnivorous, and then some that are truly carnivorous. Now, there will be some animals that, due to um, uh, sustenance or whatever they need, or to survival, they need to eat animals once in a while. Like great apes, sometimes they need to eat some insects or some animals, maybe to thrive or to survive or something like that. in dire times. But we're not in that situation today. We can also see that in nature, there is a balance of everything. Everything is a balance. In our world and society and all of this, there's no balance. It's all chaotic, it's all up and down, it's all crazy, it's all violent, and we need to stop. Okay? So getting back to these comments, because I think it's very important that we put all these things together and really address them in detail and get people to understand what's really going on. So, a lot of these posts, and I'm not talking about just my posts and my things that I do, but I read thousands and I've read thousands of comments from other YouTube channels and other people's Facebook feeds and all that. And I found that a lot of the hateful and harsh criticisms that people are getting are because a lot of these people, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of these people, first of all, they have a lot of anger within them, a lot of anger, a lot of hate, and a lot of violence within them. So that's number one. Number two is that these people are not very conscious about what they're really saying, because no Buddha or Pythagoras or Mahatma Gandhi or anybody living, if they were living nowadays, would say these things, and they would be diplomatic, and they would say loving and caring and thoughtful comments. I was even surprised a couple of times with John Sakars, and I don't want to like single him out only, but a lot of people, but especially him, I was really hoping that he would, um, be loving and caring and kind. And I've seen even not just my posts, but I've seen other posts where, well, most of the time I would say, but I think one or two times, I seen him, um, and it was not completely loving uh, comment that he posted. So I was really ashamed to say, because I really feel that, and I'm saying this about everyone, because we're all at a point in our lives, especially now with the COVID-19, we're all like stressed out, and we're all like financially, we all have these financial issues and so many problems, out of work and lockdown and all this stuff. And we really need to understand also, not just the commenters need to understand, but we need to understand as well, as producers of these posts and videos and so forth, is really to understand these people, what they're going through, and um, how much toxins and how much uh, you know what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, how much hurt they're within themselves they have, and they have a lot of hurt, and they have a lot of because the anger and the violence and the hate and everything, that's all to do with being wounded. We're all wounded growing up as children, and to get out of this complete delusion, this whole like stronghold that the society has on us, it's really really hard. And a lot of people, I would say, out of all the people on this earth, the awakened ones, the truly awakened ones, it's like probably less than 0.5%, if that, are truly awakened. And that means it's a very small percentage of people that are really really awakened and understand all these issues, because we really do need to get back to Eden. But if we're being angry and we're not being loving and understanding the other person, then it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. We're not going to get to that world we really want to live in. It's just not going to work. So the whole idea about this video is to disseminate what's really going on and how we should be living. Okay. Now I don't have all the answers. and I'm not God, and I don't really know how the world is going to look like in 20 or 40 years or whatever, 100 years, or how the Garden of Eden utopia should look like. But all I know is that the society and the governments and the institutions, they're not serving us any longer. They're not doing anything to create peace and true peace and freedom for humanity. Nothing is working. Governments are not working. Voting is not working. Nothing is working. We need to get our minds away from all that crap that is really blinding us and distracting us from the real thing that we need to do today, which is to get away from all that materialistic stuff, all that stuff that is blinding us and that is distracting us, and get to a life which we really want to live, free away from any aggression and oppression. Now, doesn't mean that there's not going to be problems doing this. There is a lot of problems doing this. There's going to be financial issues that we might have. There's going to be pushback from a lot of people. There's going to be uh, pushback from social media and from from governments and from corporations and so forth. And in the end, we might even be imprisoned, like actually put into prisons and jailed for doing the right thing. But we need to exercise our rights, our birthrights, and our values to live in harmony with all life. Okay, away from systems that do not benefit us any longer. They never benefited us. They don't benefit us now. We should get away as quickly as we possibly can from these systems, band together with other like-minded people, create communities, veganic homesteading communities of love and caring and sharing with the our fair share of water, plant foods, and seed, and to be sovereign human individuals, free on the earth, to live freely, to move freely wherever we wish. This is the calling in our world today. Let's stop bashing people that are doing the good work that we really need uh, to see happen, to see flourish, to see manifest in the world. Let's band together as vegans, raw vegans, and anarchists, and love healers and makers all around the world. Let's do it, because there's no better time than right now. We're literally suffering in this chaotic, crazy world called society. We need to get away from this crazy world, the crazy society. I mean, the world is beautiful. The society and the governments and the institutions, those are the things that we should be denouncing, and we should be exercising our birthrights, and we should be targeting these, really not fighting the system, but creating our own system. And whenever is something from the system is attacking us, maybe government or police force or whoever trying to either silence us or jail us or whatever, we have power behind us. And I don't mean physical power. I mean, we have, well, yeah, you can say physical power too, but no violence, of course, non-violence, and power in numbers, power in people to hopefully do the right thing, stand behind everybody, and exercise their birthrights, band together to do whatever we can to stand behind true freedom and love for all life, for our lives, for all life, for life of the uh, of the earth. We need to stand up. We need to stop whining, stop hating, stop being violent towards others, and stop being angry, and put our and put our all our efforts into creating this world we want to see and we want to live in. So stop, think, and let's do something that will really get us there to the world we really want to. We need to get there by 2026. According to Silesh, Rayo Silesh, we really need to get there. We really need to get there. We don't have even 6 years, my goodness. We have maybe a couple of years of that. So we need to do it now. We need to band together. Go to my forum right now. World Vegan Community. peaceful-village.com/forum. Join the community. Okay? Join the community and be a voice. There's discussions going on there. There's learning going on there. We band together. We build these physical communities of high, long fortresses so no police force can get in. Let's do it. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. No time than now. Better time than now. Thank you for joining me. I love you all. Much love. Give this a thumbs up. Share it around with all your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter and to the YouTube channel. And what else? That's it. Thank you for joining me. I love you all. Bye-bye for now.